Election 2024, America Decides, with Carl Stefanovic and Sarah Arbo.
Welcome to this special edition of Today. We are live from Washington, D.C.
This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again.
Apparently they weren't on the phone for too long. I wonder why.
Imagine so, yeah.
Just a couple-minute conversation with Donald Trump. So let's go to that right now. This is Kamala Harris. Bringing our team of correspondents across those critical states right now and following the Trump and Harris camps for you. Let's go to Alison Petrowski live in Washington, D.C. for us with that breaking news that Kamala Harris has just called President-elect Donald Trump. This hour with some breaking news. There has been an arrest at the Capitol. A man walking into the visitor center here smelling like fuel, holding a torch and a flare gun, and we understand that centre is now closed. Also, in other parts, bomb threats at polling stations in several states, and the FBI pointing the finger at Russia as we go to you at home. First to Lauren Tomasi. Lauren, good morning to you. What can you tell us about this situation at the Capitol?
Good morning to you, Carl. Look, at a time when this country, America, is under such heightened security levels, this was a concerning event for Capitol Police there. A man entering the U.S.
We
Capitol
believe that it was
Visitor
some sort of
Center.
accelerant. Could have been gasoline, some sort of accelerant.
This comes, Carl, as there's been jitters and anxiety really right across the country. We've seen multiple bomb threats made in multiple states, including in Fulton County, Georgia, and also in Jacksonville, Florida. The bomb squad called in, having to make sweeps, having to evacuate people and holding up voting for small periods of time.
Americans
very quickly
choosing their next commander-in-chief. There's mixed feelings, I think it's fair to say, on the streets of Washington this morning. Have a look.
There's a lot of division in the United States right now, and everyone is so sure of themselves that, you know, one party is the savior and the other party is the devil.
Utah, what's going to happen down there election-wise?
Oh, I think it's going to be a Trump win over there.
Do you?
Yeah.
What about overall?
Well, it's hard to say right now. I'm kind of hoping it's not Trump, but
definitely some anxiety about the election, for sure.
What's the anxiety about? Just the big fella? Another 4 years. What could go wrong?
Oh, a lot. Many things.
I'd like to see some resolution.
Yeah.
All the stress and anticipation.
America is anxious. Why?
The people are scared of each other, and they don't know who they can trust.
Yeah. However it is going, I hope that he will do a good job.
There you go, a little anxiety on the streets.
Carl, I've come inside one of the ballot stations, polling stations, so I can give you a bit of a look around and an idea of what Americans are doing on this very important day.
Now in Florida, where Team Trump is today, Jono, he's spending election night with one of his biggest supporters.
Absolutely. Elon Musk will be with him at Mar-a-Lago. He's home just behind there. They'll be watching the results come in later on this evening.
Millions of people coming out this morning, Carl. Good morning to you. I am in the key swing county, Bucks County, in the key swing state of Pennsylvania. This is what it looks like right across the country. These signs dotted at polling stations
this morning.
across
First to Jonathan
America.
Kersley in Florida. He knows how to find a party, and he was amongst it last night. Jono, a huge night for the now president-elect.
It was a massive night, a history-making night, and now it is a new day and a new era for the United States of America. Donald Trump, 4 times indicted, once convicted, will be America's 47th Commander-in-Chief. He made his way into Mar-a-Lago in the early hours of the morning. He'd spent the evening with supporters, including Elon Musk, Dana White, Gina Reinhart also inside Mar-a-Lago. And there they watched the results come in before he made his way the 6 kilometres or so to the Palm Beach Convention Centre, where there were thousands of people there ready and waiting for him. They cheered him on, listening to every word that he had to say. as he essentially said that it would be a new golden age for America, making his way back here. We are yet to see the president-elect today, obviously not arriving until sort of 2016 or 2020. He's had congratulations aplenty come his way, including from former President George W. Bush, who posted a statement saying Amazon the strong turnout in this and owner of the Washington Post, which in the last few days did not actually endorse a candidate, which was criticised by many of us.
I don't think I've ever seen a bigger flag behind you, Jono. Thank you so much. Alison Petrowski is at Howard University in Washington, D.C. for us, where the Vice President is expected to address her supporters. And this just in, Kamala Harris has now spoken to the President-elect and conceded. She's expected to make a speech in the next few hours, and we'll bring you all of that at home. First to Jonathan Kersley in Florida. Jono, it's likely his criminal cases will now be dropped. It would provide me some clarity on who's going to win this thing. I think you've got more chance of picking the winner in the Melbourne Cup, and this is only a two-horse race. It is so tight right across the country, and in particular in those battleground states, no one can separate the two candidates. The national race is sitting at a dead heat right now, 49% for Harris, 49% for Trump, with 2% still trying to make up their minds. So it is going to come down to those so-called battleground states, and the polling there is just as close, if not closer. New York Times has Kamala Harris slightly ahead in Nevada, Donald Trump holding a lead in Arizona. Harris has a slight advantage in North Carolina, Georgia and Wisconsin, but Michigan and Pennsylvania are absolutely line ball. 48 hours to go, the race is to be won.
Now in
US correspondent Jonathan Kersley.
less than 48 hours to go until Election Day, Carl, and as you mentioned, this race, it's still anybody's game.
Yeah, looking, it's so tight where you are, Jono, and across the 6 other battleground states. You can't go anywhere without seeing wall-to-wall advertising, especially if you're trying to watch the footy on a Sunday here in Washington, D.C. It is everywhere. To put you into some perspective too, $1 billion has been spent on political advertising this past week alone, and $10 billion since the start of 2023. And if you happen to live in the key state of Pennsylvania, how's this for an eye-watering figure? $538 million spent on advertising there alone. Well, some of the best advertising comes for free, doesn't it? Kamala Harris was out and about. Kamala Harris doing it that way, and Donald Trump out and about on the hustings as well. Charles Croucher, our political editor, joins us now from outside the White House. Charlie, they're preparing for any eventuality here in D.C.
Yeah, they've seen scenes like we haven't seen before over the last 4 years. You think back to January 6 in 2021 here at the Ellipse. This is where that fateful day began with Donald Trump's speech, and we end with what has been so far, it should be said, relatively peaceful election campaign. You said about the 74 million votes. They've been done quite peacefully and quite normally. There is the one event in Butler, Pennsylvania that Jono referenced where thankfully Donald Trump dodged the bullet. Now the city of Washington is preparing. There are businesses that are boarding up here. There's also some monuments that have some guardrails being put in place.
We've seen Donald Trump casting his vote.
I feel very confident. I have felt, you know, we went in with a very big lead today. We'll see how it turns out, but it seems that they have really shown up in force. I just got a call from Dan Patrick in Texas. He said they've never seen anything like it.
Welcome back to Today. Thank you for your company. Well, the music industry is honouring legendary music producer Quincy Jones today. The entertainment industry powerhouse, who worked with dozens of greats, including Frank Sinatra, Michael Jackson and Ray Charles, passed away at his Los Angeles home aged 91. He's one of the most versatile pop figures of the 20th century, known for propelling Michael Jackson's career and producing some of the star's biggest albums, including Thriller.
A producer for Off the Wall and the Thriller albums, Mr. Quincy Jones.
God puts his hands on shoulders of a few people and has touched them with exceptional talent, and Michael, you're definitely one of them.
His family has released a statement saying their hearts are fully broken.
Thousands of people have been told to stay home as flooding inundates Barcelona, including the international airport. Let's bring in 9 Europe correspondent Hannah Sinclair. Hannah, the flights have been impacted.
Good morning, Jane. Yes, that's right. Dozens of flights have been cancelled or severely delayed at Barcelona's international airport as water inundated the runway and also poured into one of the terminals there. Footage shows cars travelling on flooded roads as the weather service issued a red alert warning of extreme danger and urging people not to travel unless absolutely necessary. Train services were also disrupted, with some people left stranded. It's been a devastating week for Spain, with communities in Valencia continuing the clean-up effort there after deadly floods. 217 people have now died from the flooding disaster as authorities continue to search for those people still missing. There's been growing anger among residents about the Spanish government's response to the disaster, with crowds heckling Spain's King Felipe as he toured one of the worst hit towns. But for now, Jane, the rain has subsided and these communities are just staying on alert.
OK, Hannah, thank you. Rescuers are right now searching through rubble after a volcano erupted in Indonesia, killing at least 10 people and impacting thousands more. Ash and debris spewed more than 5 kilometres into the air, destroying villages on the island of Flores.